Welcome back to another episode. We're going back to back. So you would have just seen me in part 1 of building visibility online, and we were chatting about your face and your voice, your values, your perspectives, your advice, the way that you can really bring people into your world. Now, on this episode, I want to speak about consistency, and don't turn me off. I know you've heard it. Be consistent all the time, but I want you to really think about it. Just sit with it for a sec. The more that you see a human being in your real life, think about building a relationship, the stronger you become in terms of your bond. I have so many examples. First example is the way Tom and I met, me and my partner, was I moved into a house full of 4 other boys that I'd never met before, and he was one of them. And we didn't even know each other at all, but seeing each other, living with each other, around each other all the time, every single day, we became really close and we fell in love, and now we're like together forever, which is really fun. So that's one example. Another example is the gym, right? We go to the gym, and at the start we were just going like once a week, I'm pretty sure. Then we were going a few times a week, but at all different times. Not very consistent, right? We would go one day in the morning, and then the next day in the afternoon, then skip a few days, and then the next day would go in the morning and with a different crew at a different time. And we didn't really make many friends at the gym, you could say, right? We like knew people and whatever, but we didn't really have much of a bond. Then we started going like 3 days a week at 5 a.m. And we started meeting all of the 5 a.m. crew, who are the most consistent in the gym. I'm pretty sure like across the board in most gyms, it's like 5 a.m. crew. I remember when I worked at a gym, 5 a.m. crew was just so consistent. That being said, then we went 5 days a week at the same time with the same people, and now we're like bonded together. It's the best thing in the world. It's because of that familiarity and because of that consistency. That would not have happened unless we were seeing each other all the time, every single day. Me and my staff, my employees, right? We used to have one wedding every couple of months. And then through November last year, I'm pretty sure we had like 8. And we were seeing each other all the time, and you become so much closer. Then we had a Christmas party, and there was all of us there, and it was so beautiful. And it's because of that consistency. We saw each other time and time and time again. It's that familiarity. It's the same with content. Think about even if you have a favorite content creator, influencer, business owner, especially a vlogger, someone on YouTube who vlogs, or even a podcast host. A podcast. Even if you have a podcast that you love, then it's like the reason you love them so much is because they're consistent. And I bet you the minute that they're not consistent, you're like, oh my God, where are you? Maybe it's with me, and when I went to Japan, you're like, fuck Lily, where are you? I need my dose. I need you in my life. I get like that when my favorite influencers, whoever, has a little gap, a little time off or whatever, posts at a different day. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? And it's because they're breaking that consistency, that familiarity. And the more that you see them, the closer you become. I have podcasts and YouTubers and whatever that I've been listening to or watching for years and years and years. And I feel like if I ran into them down the street, I know their whole life story. It would feel like they're one of my best friends because I've been in their life, in their pockets for years, and they've been posting consistently for years. So now everything's so familiar. I know their face, I know their voice, I know what to expect from them. Boom, there's a relationship right there. So this is where it's like, if you were to even just take away all of the nitty gritty strategy, the authority, the educational stuff, and you actually just looked at the whole point, building relationships and creating community, that cannot happen if you're not being consistent. Think about dating a guy. How long would it take for you to fall in love with him if he was so inconsistent? If one day he was texting you and then 5 days later he messaged you back, and then he was consistent for a few days and you fall more in love and then all of a sudden he's ghosted you. It's like, what the heck? Really hard to build a relationship. as opposed to the really nice, sweet guy who just messages you every day. Right? Massive, massive difference. So if you think about that, the more that you can be consistent with content, the more that you're going to become familiar to the people. They're going to start to know you. They're going to start to like you. And they're going to start to trust you. Right? These two things go really beautifully together in terms of showing your face, showing your voice being your values, your opinions, talking, all of the things, giving them a taste. And then imagine if you were consistent in doing that. It's like these are the building blocks of how to become visible. Because you're sharing your voice very consistently. If you didn't even focus on engagement or strategy or money or conversions, just focused on those things, imagine the community that's going to come along and be like, oh my God, how cool. This girl's just like in her vibe, in her groove, just doing her thing. And like, how cool is her life? And I just want to be near her energy. People can't do that if you're being inconsistent and if they don't know what you're all about, if they don't know what your energy is like or your humor's like or how dorky you are. They don't know any of that unless you're showing them. And showing them all of those parts of you is what is going to connect them to you. Yes, the authority content's important. Yes, the educational content's important. The value's important. The freebies, the funnels, the lead magnets, like strategy, I could freaking talk to a brick wall about it forever. But this is the stuff that actually makes the difference. This is the stuff where you don't just have people in your world. You don't just have eyeballs. You don't just have engagement. You have raving fans who are in your community and they're locked in. I just launched a free challenge that's happening next week that you're invited to, by the way. And the first bunch of names that popped in, I'm like, of course. Hello again. Hello again. For the 100th time, because you're my girl and you're in my community and you know what I'm all about and you know what to expect. It was all of my OGs or the people who've been consistent jumping into all of my offers. I've built that because they know what to expect from me. A text graphic's not going to do that. Posting once a week is not going to do that. Posting a link on stories saying, buy my thing, isn't going to do that. There's so much more that needs to go into content creation, brand building, connection building than just the bare minimum. So when it comes to being visible online, those are your first two building blocks. Your first two building blocks is show up, share your voice being values, opinions, perspectives, all of the things, and do that consistently. It's like, I know, what the heck? It's so simple. It is. It's so simple, yet people aren't willing to do it. Or they do it, but then they go, nah, too hard. Nah, too scary. Oh, but she's doing this thing over here, so I'm going to leapfrog and go and do that. Oh, and then she's doing that thing, so I might just change niche and go do that. Oh, but they're doing that, so I'm going to go and do that quick cash injection, money-making thing. No, just share you consistently. That's all. That's all we need to do. Put it on a t-shirt. Share you consistently. That's what I want you to do. And I promise you'll see such a difference. And then you can DM me and be like, turns out it worked. Now, the free challenge, speaking of which, is happening next week. You're invited. And I want to see your butt in there because I am talking about becoming the go-to. And this covers so many things. That's why I created it. I'm like, the go-to, that's the perfect umbrella that we get to branch off and play with so many things when it comes to content creation, brand building, trust building, connection building, so that you can become the go-to, become the leader, become the main character that I know that you are, so that you can impact the world and you can build this big, wild business, so much momentum, dream clients, all of the things. You are so welcome to come. It is starting next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just DM me on Instagram at @TheLilyHomes and I'll send you the link and any details. I'll see you in the next episode.